Hey, Fingsters. In this video we are going to examine the Python Endswith method. Okay, so say we have so let's copy a few, like say those are tweets of strings. So we have a list D and we add some string values like to thine own self be true or something. Yeah, coffee break Python, and I like coffee, and now we want to check whether each of those strings ends with the string coffee. Okay, so say for tweet in D, so say each string here in our list D is actually a tweet. If the tweet ends with the string coffee, okay, that's very natural, ends with, yeah, when we check whether our tweet or this string ends with our string coffee. In this case, the first one does not end with the string coffee, the second one does also not end with the string coffee, but the third one does. Okay, so in this case we want to print this tweet that fits our requirement. Okay, and if you execute the code, you see that the result is I like coffee. Okay, so in this case we have found the one string that ends with coffee. Okay, so but there are two other arguments that we can use in the ends with method, and this is start and end arguments. Okay, so the start, both are optional. We also can use only one or two of them. It doesn't matter. Okay, so say we set start to 0. So this is actually the default start index, which means that from our tweet we start our tweet from the index 0, and we start looking for the suffix coffee from index 0. Okay, if we set the index higher, like for example 2, then we start looking at index 2. If we set it to 8, we start looking at index 8. So what does this mean? Okay, let's check for this final tweet. We already know that the first so without using the start index 8, we would actually, this string would match our condition. But now when we check from index 8, now let's count. We have this character has index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we start looking from this index all the way to the right. And actually here, now you see basically this substring does not end with my string coffee. Okay, so in this case, we shouldn't print any string. And yeah, you can see that there's no output. Okay, so because we never go into this branch of the if condition. Simply there's no tweet that ends with coffee when we start looking at index 8. Okay, so and now let's say we start looking at index 5. Then in this case also we should find one. Yes, I like coffee. It works out. But now what happens if we end in index 9? Okay, so then think about this for a moment. What will happen? Yeah, exactly. We won't match anything because now we start looking at index 5. So this has index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we look until index and index 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we would check whether this substring contains our matching string coffee or our suffix coffee. Okay, so in this case we wouldn't match anything. Let's execute this. Yeah, you see nothing is matched. Okay, so basically that's already it. The Endswith method checks for a certain suffix string whether our string on which we call it matches it, basically. Matches the substring.